feel now that you are officially a law degree graduate?
I'm happy because I've fulfilled my childhood dream, and that makes me the happiest person.
Now, it wasn't an easy route for you. You didn't just decide, oh, I want to study this degree, I'm going to apply, and off I go. Not only were you already retired, you were in a certain part of your life, you were then also, your application to study law was first rejected at first, and you decided you're not going to take that lying down. Explain to us what happened all those years ago when you did apply to study law at the University of Limpopo.
Let me start by saying that while I appeared before the High Court in Johannesburg, that was Judge Francis Homo, after persuading him, because I was representing myself, after persuading him to rule in our favor, he made a comment in passing that it's never too late to go and study law. And I accepted that challenge because it was something that I had always loved to do.
Now, if I could just stop you there, just to give people some context. You were appearing in court because you were the chairperson, I believe, according to this article in the Sowetan newspaper about you this week, you were acting on behalf of the PAC, I believe, and that is what brought you to the court because you were the litigation manager at the time, and that's why you were in court. And you so impressed the judge at the time that you had that engagement with him, and he encouraged you and inspired you to take up law even further.
Correct.
So then you applied, and what happened next?
I applied in University of Fort Hare and University of Limpopo, the traditional African universities. But before that, I had sent a letter to West University, which was willing to accept me. That again encouraged me to apply. So when I applied at these two universities, Fort Hare did not respond. And that was 2015. And the University of Limpopo rejected. And the basis for rejection was that I did not have a matric certificate. I had only standard 6. But my application was based on prior learning and age above 45, because the law allows you to apply without producing a matric certificate if you're above 45. So that's the basis where I went to court at North Gauteng High Court. There was my papers were two-pronged attack. I drafted my papers. The first attack was an agent application, which I lost. The second attack was a review application, which the judge instructed us to try and settle out of court. We went out and succeeded in coming to an amicable agreement. The only issue that we had to argue in court was cost. And even then, I was successful to persuade the judge that each party must pay its cost. Because in reality, I did not go to court to try and get money from the university. All what I wanted was education. So the judge agreed with me on that. And he ordered that each party pay its cost.
And in the end, you were able to start studying towards your law degree. And there you were amongst 17 and 18-year-olds, fresh out of high school. What was life like for you as a law student?
You see, what is important is to humble yourself, understand what you want, focus on what you want, and move down to the level of your colleagues. I'm saying be able to communicate at their level, be able to understand how they think and what is behind that thinking. So in short, you must reverse your years and be able to understand at that age what is the thinking. That is the one part dealing with my colleagues. At the same time, I should avoid invading their space. So I needed to balance all these issues. But that was not the only issue that I had to deal with it. There were young lecturers. Some were just completed their masters, and I had to deal with them because my presence there was a threat to them. So I had to be able to communicate effectively with respect and understand that they are there doing their job. In some cases, I may have a better knowledge than they have, but I should deal with them with respect. So those are the issues that I had to balance. Even if I don't agree with them, I should do it privately with respect.
You've now since gone on and you've qualified, you've graduated. We've seen some beautiful photos in your graduation gear with your family as well. Going back to the reasons why the seed was planted, that you had a dream to study law, was it all worthwhile? If you think back to why you had decided all those years ago, when you looked at the lives that your older siblings had gone through during apartheid South Africa, and now you finally realized that dream, was it all worth it?
Yes, it's more than that. I come from a family that has been involved in politics. I've seen detention of the entire member of the family, and I remain with Mom. And she kept on putting this seed that one day you'll have a degree and you'll be able to go to court and represent them. And that seed remains in my life. Everything that I did in the trade union movement was to try and protect the workers and do justice. And as I grow up, I started going to the community issues, and there again, trying to protect the communities. So this love of law is deeply rooted. When I integrated into the South African National Defence Force, I was ranked a warrant officer, but in 1997, when the new constitution came into effect, I think it was the 4th of February 1997, my former force, Azanian People's Liberation Army, members were granted the right to integrate and to appeal the ranks that they were given at integration. Prior to that, we had no right to appeal. So I followed suit. I appealed. It took some few years, but at the end, the chief SNDF appeal board recommended that I be ranked a colonel. Unfortunately, the chief of SNDF did not approve that. So I had to challenge him in court. In so doing, I had to know all the laws governing integration. And to assist my counsel, the late Mr. Mguni, to do the best job in drafting the papers. I was assisting even in drafting those papers. At the end, I succeeded, and then I was ranked a colonel. Few months thereafter, I was headhunted to go and work as a senior staff officer, military labor relations. That's equivalent to a deputy director. A job that I did to the best of my ability. And I can tell you that job made me to be in court almost every week.
And now, if I can disturb you there, I do apologize because we are running out of time. And now you will be back in those courts eventually at some point as a lawyer. Just very quickly before we let you go, what's your next move? You obviously want to practice. You've applied to serve your articles. What's next for Phillip Dlamini, the law graduate?
Yes, I would love to stand before court and represent my client to the best of my ability. Understand that my client, when I deal with a client, I put everything to the best interest of that client. I research, I spend time. I may be slow, but I spend a lot of time on research. I don't just prepare papers to go to court without proper research. If I lose the matter, the opponent must be good.
Well, I can only imagine anybody who has you in their corner will be very, very well prepared. Phillip Dlamini, retired colonel of the SANDF, now recently graduated, a law graduate. We wish you everything of the best on your law career going further. What an inspirational story. Thank you so much for joining us this morning via Skype from here in Johannesburg.